show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's June 23rd, 2021. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by Matt Shodell, our managing editor, and we're talking about the news of the day. And once again, another June day, another day of recruiting, a ton more news coming at you guys at CaneSport.com. Visitors on campus today, visitors coming later in the week. You got Paradise Camp Saturday, official visits this weekend as well. All kinds of action here to wrap up recruiting in the month of June. And Matt, it's been a whirlwind. It just seems like yesterday that it was June the 1st, and here we are now, June 23rd. And I mean, I swear, it seems like just a minute ago we were at the barbecue that kicked off recruiting June 1st, and it's been a crazy 3 weeks. And let's start out talking about a subject that I know is on everybody's minds before we talk about specific articles on the website this morning, and that's the number of commits. Miami's up to 4 commits now, but I got to think that in an ideal world, they might have been hoping to be a little further ahead by now into the class than they are. We're not seeing a lot of commitments, and we're seeing kids taking visits. We're seeing kids playing it out. We got Paradise this weekend, a decent list of prospects coming to campus, but there's definitely some guys that you would have liked to see at Paradise who won't be there just simply because they're visiting other schools. So just your thoughts in general on the hectic pace that this condensed recruiting period of June 2021 has created for guys, and how that's impacting Miami's quest to put together this signing class.
Well, I just did some quick math while you were talking, and they've had 31, I think if I had it correctly, official visitors already in June, which is like crazy. I can't remember the exact number you're allowed to have for a whole year, but it's probably closing on half of that in 1 month, and it's June. And yeah, I mean, 4 commits, I guess it's not a surprise. It's so early. But at the same time, you have 30 kids come in. I'm used to sort of seeing commits every official visit weekend. That's usually what happens. But again, that's September, October, November, December. These are weird times, and there have been a couple of visit weekends where there weren't commitments, the first visit weekend, second visit weekend, I believe. So, I think they got 7 more kids coming in. I didn't look exactly. There's been so much going on. One thing, there are 6 official visitors as of now coming in this weekend. So, and there'll be 1 million kids coming in for the Paradise Camp as always. I think that I think every Paradise Camp I've covered, there have been commitments, multiple commitments. I think every single one. I think it'll be the same. I'm just not sure there's going to be any 2022 commits.
Yeah.
So and with Manny Diaz's new structure of what they want to do, and when they take a commit, I don't know that they're going to have any kids publicly say they are committed if they're a 2023 kid that wants to take visits. Manny's new thing is, hold off on making the public announcement. We want to make sure you're sure, and until you're sure, don't say anything, because if you're looking, we're looking. So it's a weird year. I'd be surprised if there's not at least a couple of commitments this weekend. Again, not necessarily from 2022 kids, but it's weird times. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm sure the coaches are a little uneasy. This is not a normal situation, and I'm sure that they're a little bit uneasy about the number of commits right now and stuff. The thing that I would, if I had the opportunity to just voice that opinion, would be that don't panic, don't start going to Plan B and Plan C here in the month of July. This program needs to raise the level of its game in recruiting. It needs to get more elite players, and you're going to have to fight for those kids. Those kids are not going to come easy. You're not going to get layups in this recruiting class the way you got them in the 2020 cycle, when kids couldn't go visit schools, when coaches couldn't visit them, when schools could not recruit properly. Miami took advantage of that situation and really got a lot of relatively easy commits from local kids last year. And the class built very quickly. They were able to hold it together. Clearly, it's going to be tougher this year. They're going to have to fight it out much more. And I would just implore them, keep fighting, man. Keep battling. Don't panic. Don't go to the B and C list right now. Stay in the trenches there and fight for the best players in the country. That is the thing that will take the Miami football program back from middle of the pack ACC to the top of the ACC and back into relevance and contention in college football. So it's worth fighting for. That's the message that as an outside observer that I would deliver to those in the fray right now. Just keep battling out. All right. So on the website this morning, lots of really good stuff. The other day, a couple days ago, we brought you a real talk by our new analyst, Coach Hayes, and everyone seems to have liked that quite a bit on Kamari Rogers. Well, today we've got a little bit of a different viewpoint for you from our other football analyst, Thomas Frankar, who also breaks down Rogers and gives you some insight into what he's seeing in his ability level. So that's an interesting read. Sure, you're going to enjoy that. We mentioned Paradise Saturday. We'll take a look at yesterday we took a look at the 2022 kids that are coming to Paradise. Today we take a look at the 2023 and 2024 and beyond kids that right now are on the list, and keep an eye on that list as the week goes forward. It's going to continue to grow. There will be walk-ups on Saturday, no question about it. But we're trying to give you this running picture of who's going to be coming to Paradise Camp on Saturday. All right, we've been previewing some of those kids. We're obviously not going to be able to preview all of them, but we are previewing the ones that we can for you guys to give you a little bit of a look at what you might expect this weekend. One story that you'll see on the website this morning is about Miami Edison cornerback Elijah McContos. He's coming to Paradise this weekend looking to get an offer. And Matt, he worked out for T-Rob and DVD about a week or so ago, and they invited him back to Paradise. Good sign, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times what the coaches will do is, they'll work a kid out. You don't really get a sense unless they're going against really good competition, right? I mean, it's like looking at a highlight tape, right? If you watch a highlight tape and the kid's not playing good competition in whatever state he's in, I mean, he's going to dominate. And a lot of highlight tapes look really good because they're highlights. They're not lowlights. So when you get a kid going against really good players that are good players and they're still doing really well, then you got something, So that's why you want to bring a kid back. If obviously he shows up and he's tripping over his own feet, they're not going to say come to Paradise. So yeah, it's a good sign they're bringing him back. Doesn't mean the kid's going to get an offer. And you mentioned, plan B and plan C. Well, I mean, the kid's already got 22 offers. It says LSU, Michigan, Illinois, Florida, Kansas are recruiting him. So pretty hard. So, I mean, this isn't like a plan B or plan C necessarily kid. Just he's a 3-star. He's from Miami Edison. So, and if they offer him, I think he winds up here. So, we're going to see, but he's definitely one to keep an eye on, and that's why we profiled him leading up to the camp.
All right. So I've been, obviously we follow recruiting very closely, and I've been looking at it. And the one thing that has really struck me, or one of the things that's really struck me this month, is the fact that tight ends coach Steve Field has kind of been quiet in a sense. Like he's really only recruiting a couple guys, RJ Maryland, a couple of the other tight ends, one already committed to Texas. And to me, he's one of the better recruiters on the staff. Has been proven for many years to be an effective recruiter. I wonder if they're letting him do enough. Like, I wonder if he's recruiting enough kids, if he's being able to make an impact. But this weekend, Matt, Coach Field is going to have a chance to put an imprint on this recruiting class because he's got a tight end visiting by the name of Jaleel Skinner. And this Skinner kid, and we have a preview of his visit on the site this morning. This Skinner kid is the real deal. I'll give you an example that I'll tell you one story that without question will sum it up for you in a capsule. And Skinner visited Alabama last weekend, and they had 4 meals on the recruiting visit. For each of those 4 meals, there was an empty seat next to him at the table. You know who it was reserved for? Nick Saban. And that tells you how badly Alabama wants this kid, and it tells you how good of a football player that Jaleel Skinner is. And, this weekend, Miami's got him in the house. And they're going to have paradise. They're going to have the full recruiting weekend to make an impression on him. And I'm looking for Steve Field to be at his finest this weekend and put Miami in the game for Jaleel Skinner. And I hope he's able to do that, because this kid is the type of kid that would continue that tight end tradition. All right, another story today. There's a 2024 receiver by the name of James Madison. And this kid has, even though he's 2024, is making an impression everywhere he goes. And he went to the Rivals Underclassmen Challenge last week and probably was the best player on the field. And that's how good this kid is. He's a rising local star at St. Thomas Aquinas. And so we've got a story on him this morning. And, Matt, let me ask you real quick about him. Obviously we see young kids surge onto the scene. But when was the last time you remember, because I know I can't remember it, a local South Florida kid being universally considered the top recruit at a national event this early in his career?
I mean, I think Brandon Innes fits that category.
Yeah. But he's a year older.
Yeah, but I'm thinking last year everyone knew he was really good too. But trying to think who else.
I remember like Duke Johnson was well thought of early.
Yeah, I mean it's rare. It's rare. It's definitely rare. So, yeah. I mean,
Madison's he's got a lot of tools. He's got a lot of tools. You can watch in that content item when you read it on the website. We threw some film in there from the Underclassmen Challenge last week. You can watch him go in the one-on-ones, make some judgments for yourself. But he's a kid that really impressed all the analysts that were at the Underclassmen Challenge, and is definitely one to keep an eye on here in the next couple years. Also a story on the website of 4-star Demario Tolan's official visit this weekend. He's coming in. Miami's going to take their best shot with him, and he's a really good-looking prospect as well. So to sum it all up here, big weekend coming up. We'll continue to be all over it for you at CaneSport.com. I want to give a shout out to the Miami SID office, Cam Gorby, because we're counting on him to approve all of our credential requests for this weekend. We've got a team assembled to go out and cover Paradise, and hoping to bring you all the sights and sounds from the big weekend at Miami. So that's going to do it for this morning. For Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Until next time, we'll say goodbye, everybody.